Three, two, one, and we're live. Welcome back to Conversations with. This is the 12 weeks of Christmas James Smith Academy Challenge, and we are back to give you our updates for the week, any wins or any learnings we've had from the week. And then we're going to talk about what we do to set ourselves up for success in the challenge. We'll talk about some different topics around planning, preparing, tracking, different tricks for setting our mindset correctly, how we motivate ourselves with our whys while we're doing the challenge, and we're also going to talk about how I try to potentially identify anything that may impact our week or sabotage our week in advance. So I'm just going to kick it straight off, and we're going to talk to Charlotte first.
Hello. I've had a relatively good week this week. I did my weekly update. I'm down 1/4 of an inch on my waist. Everything else has stayed the same. My weight's stayed the same. But I've kind of got used to it's not all about your weight, which was a big fixation for me before. My run times haven't really improved that much. I'm actually up 3 minutes on my last runs last week. Obviously weather and everything, I haven't got out as much as I should have done. So yeah, I need to crack on and improve on that now. Try and bring that down a little bit.
Okay, well done on the loss.
Thank you.
Cool. Rob, welcome back.
Thank you. It's been an alright week. I've had a couple of training sessions. I'm actually really enjoying the gym, and I actually rejoined the gym this week as well. So yeah, it's really just getting into the rhythm of going to the gym and not finding something else to do or distract me.
And so that's been your learning then.
Yeah, basically simple this week.
No, good. Well, I'm glad you're back in the gym. That's that's the first step, isn't it? Having a membership. So yeah, good luck with next week. And we're going to welcome back from season 1. It wasn't season 1, season 2. Beat the Boss, and welcome back Lauren, who's wasn't with us for the first couple of weeks because she was in hospital. So yeah, hopefully you're recovering, Lauren, and you're obviously still in the challenge, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I almost quit a couple times. The Saturday before the challenge, I was like gung-ho and all set up, and I randomly had to have gallbladder surgery. So that kind of, my challenge goal was to train 3 times a week, which sounds really simple, but for me that was going to be hard with the holidays, all of my family birthdays and everything through till Christmas. And I was going to change it, and I didn't actually change my goal. I changed my mind on it. I still want to train 3 times a week. I just have to be more creative these first few weeks while I'm healing, which I've been doing. It's more active recovery and seeing what that looks like and being patient, which is not my strong suit. And I had to change my sub goals because my sub goals were all lifting related, what I wanted my deadlift to be and my bench and stuff like that. So it's just, this is going to be a difficult challenge for me because it's all going to be patience based, and that is not me. So, but the first week was trash, total trash. I was just doing what I needed to do to feel better after surgery, and a lot of comfort food and a lot of just, making myself feel better. And so that was last week. And then this week was much better. I had a couple of days, I literally messaged the trainers and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do the challenge. I'm out. I'm not going to do it. And they were like, and actually Jack was the one who messaged me back, and he was just like, you cannot do the challenge, and then you're going to set yourself back, and then you're going to be super pissed in January when you have a setback and you have to start from zero. Like, these 12 weeks are going to pass anyway. You might as well try. And he's completely right. So here I am.
Well, one of the coaches then was able to say, you're going nowhere. And I guess one thing that we've all learned in 2020 is how to adapt. So it's just another thing to be thrown at you. But yeah, I'm glad that you're on it.
Yeah.
And now we'll go to the other side of the world and speak to Paddy.
Yeah, I've had a pretty good week for lifting. I've trained 6 times this week, and my body is like pretty raw. Like it's all pretty sore, but everything's feeling really good. I've got my cousin to sign up to the same gym as me now as well. And we both used to power lift together, and we were always lifting the same weight, but he was half a kg lighter than me. And so he was always winning on Wilks, which is like your power to weight ratio. So that's like really good competition for me. Like both of us training in the gym, sort of like just butting heads and trying to see who can sort of do it better. Food wise, I went to a gig on Friday night, and so yeah, a few too many beers, and also a few cheeky takeouts afterwards put me back a little bit, but I'm not worried about it because it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And we've got to have fun. It's 12 weeks. If we don't put any fun in there, then it's going to be a long 12 weeks. So, and six training sessions. You need to give yourself a break. So, yeah.
Yeah, I split it like upper body, lower body. So there is like a bit of a break in between. So like upper body break, you know, and then subsequently lower body break. So it works out, but yeah, it's a bit full on.
Tired on your Sunday morning then?
Yeah, for various reasons.
Good. Well, sounds like a good week. Well done.
Yeah. Thanks.
Let's go to somewhere that's very similar to New Zealand in terms of landscape and speak to Elena.
Just much colder. My week's been okay, I think. My win probably is almost being able to do an unassisted pull-up yesterday, no, the day before. I'm really close now, and so that's really good because the last couple of weeks I've been feeling a bit sort of weak with my lifts. I think it's a lot to do with training from home and not having very heavy weights and dropping weight as well, which means I can't lift as much as I was when I wasn't in a deficit. So that's a good positive, and that's really what I wanted to do in this challenge, is to do a strength goal that wasn't affected by me being in a deficit. So I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, that's it really.
That's a big win. Next week, chin will be above the bar. I'm sure it will.
We'll see.
Well done. Okay, back down under, and let's speak with Emily.
Yeah, right. So my big win this week was increasing my hip thrust. I did 150K for 5 reps 4 times. No, 115. Sorry, not 150. I think I misspoke there. Yeah, 115, 4 sets of 5. So that was a big thing. Feeling it this morning. Didn't really want to get out of bed. But yeah, that was my big win. So, yay.
That is. I was waiting to see Katie's reaction because I know she's big on that, and no, it's maybe a good person to speak to next. But yeah, well done on that, because is that a PB?
No, but it's been quite some time since I did a full test and did a PB. So the last time I did working sets, they were, I think, about 120, but that was like pre-COVID. So I don't know.
Oh, that's good. We'll call it a recent PB then.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Well done. Katie, what's your thoughts on that?
Amazing. I love hip thrust. They're one of my favourite exercises, and it was my Bing Tang's in Bali goal to get, well, it was going to be 100 kilogram hip thrust, but then the gym shut. So I managed to buy some rusty plates and salvage a barbell from somewhere, and I had enough to get up to 85. And then just recently I've hit 100 kilograms since the gyms have been back open. So my win this week was I managed to do my 3 workouts, and when I did my hip thrusts this week, I was doing 100 kilograms, which was my PB last week, and they felt much easier this week. Not easy, but easier than the week before. So I feel like I'm heading in the right direction to hit my goal.
Brilliant, well done.
Apart from I sound like I've like smoked loads of cigarettes. I haven't. I've just done some cardio basically. I've not done any cardio for about 3 weeks, and I went to Blaze, and I still can't breathe properly. Just neglected all cardio for weight. So yeah, whoops.
It's amazing how those two things you need, and I guess we'll speak to Shannon in a minute, who is doing that in CrossFit. You're having that balance between cardio and weights is hard work, I think. But yeah, you love Blaze and all that much, so hopefully it was fun.
Yeah.
It's kicking the ass out of that bag. So Shannon, we're all linking in quite nicely now. It's the CrossFitter that's had a bit of a difficult week, I think, in places. But so yeah, you've not. You need to tell us what your goal is, what's going on as well, because you've not been on yet. So
yes, so I'm on week 3. I'm week 3. I started a week before everybody else because it's my birthday, and I just for Christmas I'm drunk for about a month, so I started early so that I could drink over Christmas. But sure, that mightn't happen now with Northern Ireland being back in lockdown. But my goal, is 5 CrossFit sessions a week, so that's 60 over the challenge, and I'm absolutely smashing it, if I do say so myself. I have done 18 this far. I've done 8 sessions this week, and I'm going to try and fit in another one tomorrow maybe, so that'll be 19 for the week. So I'm actually like a full week ahead of myself. I've hit like 4 or 5 PBs this week in my overhead squat, my front squat, power snatch, muscle cleans, things like that. And then my sub goal, which had originally been my normal goal, was to lower my HbA1c from 12.4% down to 8, because it's the worst it's been in years, and it's already down to 11.3 in 3 weeks. So I'm happy.
Sorry, what for people that are listening who maybe don't know what that is, do you want to explain what that is?
So a HbA1c is the amount of hemoglobin, I think it is, attached to the red or white blood, one of the blood cells, over a 3-month period. So it fits in then nicely with the challenge of how long I can take to get it down.
That's to do with your diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit.
Just before the challenge, I had got a letter from the doctors to say that they have noticed early signs of going blind in one of my eyes. So I was just like, I want to improve my diabetes before it gets any worse.
So hopefully that's all the exercise and everything. And I know you're type 1, so it's not it's you were born with it rather than you've developed it.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's stuff to prevent that, and but if it's come down quite that significantly, that's like 30% decrease or whatever.
Yeah.
My late Saturday night mass, so that's brilliant. So, well done, and pleased to have you back.
Thank you. Makes for a change from going to the pub on a Saturday.
And Shannon's holding me accountable for not drinking. So for the people that are listening rather than watching, I have water and I had a protein shake. So things are.
I did get drunk on Thursday night, but
I can't believe you're relying on the Irish to help you with not drinking.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're not known for being able to drink whatsoever. But yeah, so I'm not giving an update. I was just wanting people to know that for once I'm not pissed on the podcast. I'm cleaning up my act. so let's get cracking. We're going to talk about steps to success. And as I did last week, I asked the group to kind of think about that in advance. And there was one common theme, or sorry, there was lots of common themes, but the main one that came through was around planning. And we've got a few people who are not, have come on, and their common things were having like trackers and things on, plans in place. People using different methods, diaries, computers, or all of that. So, Charlotte, you mentioned, well, everybody talked about that, but what was your thing about planning?
Mine was having my gym gear ready to put on every morning. So as soon as I get up, I get dressed and I put on my gym gear. And yeah, I walk my daughter to school in my gym gear. So I'm one of those active wear mums that everybody hates. Fine.
I like those ones.
You did.
I'm that mom too.
Don't disbelieve it. Men like those mums as well.
But yeah, so I normally walk her to school, and then from the school, I because I only live sort of like within 2 roads from the school anyway, so I walk her to school, and then I run from the school, and I go for my run and come back home and do my weights then.
Cool. So
yeah,
that's
I'm go to.
That's probably fits a lot more into a prepare section, but I'm just scanning my notes, and Emily, you were talking about planning your week, and you gave some real detail into what you do in terms of planning and things. So yeah, you talked about starting on Sundays.
Yeah, so Sunday is generally the quiet day at our house. So I spend the whole day doing things like meal prepping, and I sit down with all of the calendars. I have various calendars, one on the wall in the kitchen, one in my phone, one by the bed, one that goes in my car, one that goes in my work bag. And I sit down with all my calendars and I make sure everything's synced up, and I plan all of my stuff for the week, because Monday to Friday is just really busy, and we're go between gym, play dates, work, all the other little appointments and things in between. So if I don't plan, I get really frazzled and like anxious, and yeah. So I spend the day on Sunday doing that. And I'm like Charlotte, I plan my gym stuff. I lay it out every night before I go to bed, so it's there in the morning when I get up, and the bag is by the door to grab to stick in the car. So it makes life so much easier.
One group of people who are definitely good at planning stuff is mothers. I know that much. Mums tend to be, it's like a military operation sometimes, I think. And Katie, you mentioned planning.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite, I think, though, in terms of planning food and stuff. I don't do any food prep. I roughly know what I'm gonna have, but I just get bored really easily. Hence why I like the Blaze class, because it's different all the time. So I sort of plan when I'm gonna go to the gym, and I know which days I'm going to the gym, but that's I don't do that a lot of planning really.
You're not a planner.
No, I will set little weekly goals to try and like break down the big goal, because I used to be a coach at my school, and it was all about like if your goal is a 10, like 10 is reaching your goal, where are you now? Where can you get to by this time next week? So sort of making it more manageable. So yeah, I did do a weekly goal post on Instagram today for accountability. Not today, when was it? I don't know, Monday, for accountability, and that did work, because I did then know I've posted it and had to go and do it. So yeah.
Elena, you're another Sunday planner?
Yeah, I like anything where I can tick something off. So any list, like for work, anything. So I've got like a weekly planner. I'll put down all my workouts I'm going to do for the week, so I know exactly what I'm doing every day. So the opposite of Katie, really. And I have PCOS, so I have to regulate the symptoms. Not quite the same as Shannon, probably with her diabetes, but that's the way I've managed to sort of lose fat and stuff last 6 months, is by making sure I'm on top of that, so that I have to take isotal and vitamin every day to make sure that I keep on top of it. So I like to have little things to tick off. I've got reminders on my phone. I just like to plan. I know roughly what I'm going to be eating every day as well for the week. So yeah, I do it on a Sunday night. So I'll just go to bed early, sit down, and just work out what I'm going to do all week, and it just helps me get through the week. And when I was doing like the step challenge, I'd make sure that I had a goal every day of how many steps I was going to do. It's a little bit sad, I know, but it just helps me. So yeah, and a little bit like Emily. I know Emily mentioned in the group that she posts on social media as well to keep her accountable. And I do the same. Like I found since lockdown, just posting something on Instagram every day helps me sort of keep accountable, make sure that I continue to progress. Yeah, so I just love planning, basically.
Do you plan what you're going to put out onto social media?
No.
No.
Some
Okay.
days I'll like text the girls. I'll text like Joe. No, I'll text Joe and I'm like, ugh, I don't have anything to post today. I don't know what to post. And then I'll think of something. Sometimes it's shit, but it's just for me, really.
That's important. That you're only you're posting it for yourself is the important. If you're doing it for accountability and things, is you're not giving a shit what else is going to come back at you. Rob, you talked before about journaling, and so are you a planner?
I'm a massive planner. Like I have every Sunday I have a block of an hour where I literally plan out what's going on, my non-negotiables when I'm doing in my exercise sessions. I normally run 4 projects a week, and that's mixed between work and personal. And I'll list out the goals that I'm going to do for a week. Every day I have a check-in and a planning session for the next day, and I set 5 what's known as the power list. So I do 5 tasks. They're non-negotiable. I will complete these. I have the day. And that could be anything from like reading 10 pages, going to the gym, going to an important meeting, whatever it takes. And then I have like a monthly sort of session where I work out what is possible with all social engagements. So I don't set myself goals that are vastly impossible in a month and go, oh, I'm going to do this massive thing, and then get 3 weeks into it, have achieved nothing, and feel like crap. So yeah, I plan a lot, which some people think is nuts, but I see results in what I do. And yeah, it keeps me busy. So can't be that bad.
Paddy is Mr. Whiteboard.
Yeah, I've got a whiteboard. I started it with my first challenge in Bintangs in Bali, and it sort of was just tracking my weight, and also I think at the time the goal was centimeters lost, so it was quite cool having both of those graphs sort of side by side. And then I also just laminated a whole bunch of photos that sort of like inspire me from like where I was in the past to like where I was at the start of the year. And I used to have the giant before photos from my first week of Bintangs up there, just to like be like, I don't want to be that guy anymore, and just sort of like, inspire me to keep going. But then friends kept coming over and I kept getting really embarrassed that there was photos of me in my undies on my wall, so I took those ones down. But yeah, I've kept it going all 3 challenges, and so now it's got like a graph of the weight, and it's also at the moment got like a weekly planner of every week of the challenge and every day, and so I'm ticking off and writing in like which workouts I've done and where I've had a rest. And like even just after 2 weeks, it's really like pushing me to just like make sure that I'm staying on top of it, because I'd hate to see like a whole bunch of like red crosses on days where I didn't train. Like if I had like 3 or 4 days in a row, I'd know that I sort of like let it go a little bit. So yeah, it's like I guess I'm a very visual person, so it's nice for me to like have that visual representation of like my progress somewhere that I have to look at it every day, like right above my bed. Yeah.
This whiteboard that Paddy sent a picture of us isn't just your small little whiteboard. The only way I can describe it is I was a sales manager, and all I can imagine is Paddy giving himself like a sales briefing in the morning, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, guys, this is where we are. This is where we're going. This is the numbers we need to get to." But yeah, it was cool. You could tell that the artistic side is in there. Yeah, and
I almost need a laser pointer so I can point around the board.
For people listening,
Like the ones you get in school.
Yeah,
like the ones you have in school. Isn't it, Katie? Like massive.
No, we don't have those. It's too far more advanced now. Actually, I think they're probably banned from kids shining them in people's eyes when they get hold of them and doing all sorts of things. We had to ban pencil sharpeners in my school once though, because they were taking the razor blades out and slicing each other's blazers, and then sometimes the person. So no, nothing like that. It's all contraband.
Salford.
Salford. I love Salford though. Actually, if anyone's listening, I love Salford. So.
But yeah, so maybe I'll share Paddy's massive whiteboard, and on the podcast channel if he allows us. There might be some sensitive information on there.
I'll get a photo of myself beside it for scale.
Yes. And Shannon, you were telling us about your little diary, I think was your word.
Yeah, it's an A5 diary. I don't write in clip beforehand unless it's like an appointment or something like that there. But it's not that I sit and plan my weeks. So I work and then have uni as well. So that's more or less my days, 3 days a week planned out. Work then the other 2 that I'm not at college as well. And then I fit in CrossFit every morning and an evening if I can. And then the weekend's pretty much free and there's nothing to plan anymore. So I don't like planning things too much.
Same.
But Lauren, you mentioned, I guess there is an element of planning. It was the last bit about, and I thought it was a really good point. It's trying to pre-identify your sabotages.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's similar to the planning. Like I'm not that food prepper person. I can't do that. Or my week is just so crazy between how my job is and having 2 kids and like all that stuff, that to plan every single day doesn't really work. But on the weekend, or even like usually Sundays, I will kind of pre-identify like, okay, I know Friday is a baby shower and I know Wednesday night I'm having drinks with so-and-so. And like, I'll kind of pre-identify what is going to be what, so I can plan ahead of like, okay, maybe Wednesday's the day I skip breakfast because it'll help me stay in a deficit because I'm going out after work on Wednesday, or kind of just try to head off some of those things so that I give myself that cushion. So even if I do slip, it's not a full crash and burn, it's just a little bit of a slip. And kind of head off some of that stuff, and that even months in advance. And like I said before, all of my kids' birthdays are in the fall. All of my siblings' birthdays are in the fall. So there's literally something every weekend, a birthday party, of this or that. And then you have the holidays, and then, Halloween and the candy and all the fun stuff we do here in the States. So just planning ahead for that so that I can still have fun, but don't completely, obliterate what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I really like that about checking in advance, which was a big part of planning. And then, and I guess it relates, and so we probably spoke about it, but tracking. So I guess this comes into tracking calories, tracking what you're doing, tracking progress. You know, that weekly check-in with yourself. And I think Elena mentioned a bit about accountability. So, Rob, let's start with you, because I know that this is kind of the first time you've done a challenge, but you're putting yourself out there, you and tracking and things. So, how are you managing with that?
Last challenge, I ran a spreadsheet which ran into a load of sort of graphs and tables, so I could visualize what I was doing with calories, with steps, with things like that, and I could spot, like, if my weight went up and my steps had gone down, then that was probably why, you know, and my calories were high. It just gave me a bit more accountability to try and keep it within some parameters. This time around, I've gone really simple, and now I'm going to have to implement a bit more stringent thing, because I'm just doing 36 workouts. So I was like, I won't track. I'll track calories, but I won't like do that sort of spreadsheet every day. But I'm not as consistent, and I'm not being as mindful of what I'm eating, and I am going over, and I'm meant to be keeping to maintenance. And it's just made me go, yeah, I need that sort of regular check-in to keep myself on course, because otherwise I'm just going to eat everything in sight as I used to. So yeah, I'm going to introduce more, but at the moment it's just literally in a calendar. All my workouts are planned in, and it's got like 1 of 36, 2 36 or 36. And that's quite an interesting thing for me to do, because I've now seen where I've had to push some stuff up, where I've had not been able to get to the gym or something. I'm now running out of time to push any more things up without like either working out every day or every other day. So yeah, having that sort of long-term goal and long-term view is quite good for me to go, yeah, I've got to get myself in line now, because otherwise 10 weeks down the line, I'm going to be working out 3 times a day.
You're going to be working out 3 times a day?
Well, yeah, if I carry on pushing workouts back or not doing them, and I want to hit that 36 goal, I can see myself doing something stupid, like I will work out 3 times a day, because I've done crazy things like that in the past. But you know, let's not get to that level of obsession.
That's not too bad. I've done that this week.
Yeah, but I'm old.
Charlotte, you said about using the JSA tracker.
Oh, for the calories and protein and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the members on the JSA group, Rachel, I think it is, she printed out like or she did like a graph kind of copy, and that she put out for people to be able to use, and it's got your steps, your protein, your workouts, and your calorie deficit on there as well. So obviously every day I'm putting out my steps, and then you just kind of make sure that you're ticking everything off as you're going. And obviously that's kind of given me that little bit of a drive to make sure that I'm ticking all the boxes every day. And obviously, like over the past week, I've definitely seen like quite a nice increase in my step count as well, which is quite nice to see all the numbers going up every day. Because I'm making that more of a conscious effort that I need to get my steps in. And obviously once you're seeing the numbers from like the previous days, you want to be able to try and almost compete with yourself to kind of step it up a little bit as well. So yeah, that's a really good way of doing it as well.
And did I read that you have that somewhere that's visible?
Yeah, so I've got it on my cupboard door in the kitchen. And what I've got is I've got my 12 weeks to Christmas. I've got my goals just above it in like whiteboard marker. I write all over my kitchen cupboards, but I do it in the whiteboard marker so it comes off. But yeah, I just put it up there, so I've got my challenge goals and everything up there as well. And then yeah, I've got kind of like my weight loss kind of tracker on the inside of the cupboard with like photos of where I used to be. So yeah, there's another kind of reminder.
I love that making it visual. And,
Yeah.
like Paddy's, and you're really putting it in a prominent place that
Yeah.
you can't hide from in a way.
No, well, at least I know when I open the cupboard, because that's where I keep all my daughter's sweets. So I know when I open the cupboard, I can see my photos and go, no, don't want that. Shut the door.
I think it's also important, if you're doing this, you have to be honest with yourself and track the days where you consider it a failure or you consider you haven't done as well, because if it's going to be something you see every day, unless it's the honest truth, it's not going to help you.
No, not at all.
Mm.
No.
It's hard to be honest with ourselves.
Well, you know what's funny too with tracking is that when I was in the hospital, they had a nutritionist come and she knew my story, and they knew the reason I had the gallbladder issue was because of the massive amount of weight loss, which is kind of a kick in the ass, by the way. You lose all this weight and then you find out that it's kind of bullshit, but whatever. So I was sitting there all like bitter about it, and she's looking at my diet stuff and she's like, your diet's excellent, but there's something really big missing here. And I'm looking at it, I was like, bitch, there's nothing missing. My protein's good. Like, I was like, bullshit. I was pissed. And then she looked and she's like, water. I was like, what? And I'm like looking, and I was so concerned. I've been so concerned with having everything I have is 0 calorie. So it's like seltzer, 0 sugar, 0 calorie soda, something like that. I literally looked back and I was like, oh shit, like I don't really drink like just a plain glass of water. I just don't do that. And she's like, like things. So it's funny to, like you were saying, accountability, to really analyze your day, like, and it's not only to see what you are doing, it's what you're not doing, and it could be something as simple as that. So that's like a new sub goal I've added in. It's just drinking just like simple water and taking a daily vitamin just to fill in those gaps that I might not realize I'm having.
That's note to self, Alistair, because I'm a soda pop drinker and no water, so
I track my water every day. That's one of my goals, is 3 liters a day.
That was
So
Sean's
important.
last challenge.
Yeah, I actually bought one of those. I didn't get the crazy big jug because I have a life and I can't be peeing every 5 seconds, and I it's not going to happen. But and I've also had 2 kids, and I don't want to have to like wear a diaper, like legit. So I did get a big giant jug, and that's gonna be my thing, is to fill it in the morning. It's got to be empty at nighttime, and just start with that and see if I feel any different.
Right on point there, Shannon.
What is it?
Amber.
The good stuff.
Oh God, that stuff.
Talking of water, did anybody do the 90-day plan, the body coach plan?
Yeah.
Never.
What was the random amounts of water they used to give you? That like, it used to be really specific, like 2.75 liters, as if like that was the magic to success. It was. I'm just trying to look at my old PDF now as to what there he is, Joe. He used to give you like random amounts of water to drink, and so I remember asking James on one of his lives, like, how much water should I drink? He was like, just so you're not dehydrated, like you idiot. And I was like, oh,
just look at your pee and check.
I felt really stupid till I left. Yeah, I'm just trying to find what it was just weird.
It's funny though, because I used to work with a coach, and he used to say, our meeting
3.75. Sorry, Alistair. 3.75 on my cycle too. 3.75, and I have the tiniest bladder as it is, and I'm a teacher, so I can't go to the toilet whenever I want. So I was like, how am I going to do that? Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was interrupting you. I was just filling the gaps. I was just being host. I was just saying, I used to work with a coach who used to say, okay, cool, we'll meet at 11:26, and each time it was different, and I guarantee you were there at that weird time. It was a weird concept. So I don't know how he managed his diary.
Set my alarm. Click that.
Oh.
Sorry, I've got an unstable internet connection apparently.
You set your.
Oh no.
5-minute intervals.
That extra minute in bed could be the key.
So
nope. I could never.
No way.
But I'm weirdo. I'm that weirdo who like I can't even set the music volume in my car. Like I have specific volumes. It has to be an odd number. It can't be an even. I'm very weird.
Oh, didn't that go around on the stories for ages? Where people like, I'm sure Pav and Ange and things were doing it like, oh no, it's on 11. I can't. I seem to just remember something like that going around for a while. And if anybody's seen This Is Spinal Tap, they'll know that it, it goes up to 11. Okay, cool. I've kind of lost where I was going to go with, but I think we should kind of wrap up with mindset and whys. And this came from so moving on from tracking. Pav uses spreadsheets to another level. He's got projections for his burpees and exactly what he needs per day and where he will be if he doesn't do X amount. Judith talked about tracking as well, but Joe mentioned something about in her planning being all about reminding herself of the why at the start of the week and almost each day. And I just wondered if anybody else is doing that. Is anybody else thinking about their whys? Shannon.
I mean, I just wanted to say about mindset,
Let Lauren first.
No, go ahead.
So along with my tracking that I do with Nikki and Rhiannon, because me and Rhiannon wasn't going to do this challenge, and then we got FOMO. We had set up our own accountability tracker, and then I had said then at the start of the challenge for my diabetes, which is my why at the minute, that I wanted to make sure that I was doing enough scans throughout the day. So within that, it's asked me like, how many scans did I do? How many was within the range? And was there any reasons why they were out of the range? So I'm asked every single day whether I've met my why or if there's reasons why I haven't met my why. So it's keeping me on track and reminding me.
I like that. Did you hit your why? And if not, why not? Why? It's too many whys.
It's like my bin story the other night.
Lauren, you were going to talk about mindset.
Well, I was just going to say, you guys who from season 2 of the podcast who we talked to in a WhatsApp group, I had said to them, and I had said even on my Instagram, right after surgery, I was just so swollen and bruised and everything. I looked like I did at the start of the last challenge, and that fucked my mindset. Like when I took my week 0 picture, I was like, it didn't even look like I did the last challenge, and I legit cried. And it doesn't matter, like it's irrational, right? You just had surgery, of course you're gonna look like crap, but it didn't matter. I looked exactly like, and I was it just screwed my mindset. And I had to sit back and it's like, okay, what was the goal for this challenge? Was to train 3 times a week and get stronger. I very purposely took away a weight loss. I didn't want to do a weight goal because fuck what I weigh, right? So if that's the mindset, screw what I weigh, it's how strong I am, to circle back and put myself back in that mindset. And okay, it was a setback because I couldn't really work out pre-surgery too because I had some pain issues. So it's like getting back to that. Yes, you look different. Yes, whatever. But even in the last challenge, like all the reading and stuff. So I pulled out the books that I did, all that reading sub goal. A lot of I did. I pulled out some of my favorite ones and ones that I earmarked, and I went back to that mindset of just that getting stronger. And it's like, okay, my goal was always to get stronger. The only thing that's changed is now I'm getting stronger after surgery. So like it's an added addition, but it did not change the goal. And it's just working on, it's circling back. It's taking that minute. For me, it's also taking the minute. And I've talked to Shannon about this a little bit too. It's okay to take that minute, take a break and a breath, honor that space that you're in, to like cry, be pissed, be whatever. Like don't pretend it's not happening. You can feel like shit, but just don't live there. And circle back to your why and why you're doing it. And why I'm doing this is to get stronger this challenge, because I don't care about weight. And I'm looking better and I'm feeling better and all that great stuff. But it's that combination of taking a pause and acknowledging that you're feeling crappy, but not letting yourself stay in that space, and using people, places, whatever you need to do to kind of circle back.
That's a real living example there. I like that, how you had to really sit down and have a chat with yourself and just remind yourself. And once you did, it sounded like it pushed you forward again. So it sounds brilliant. Let's. I want to ask Rob, because he's got mindset in his Instagram name, Deadlift Mindset.
So what do I do? I suppose for me, I'm trying to. I suppose if you look at my Insta handle, this is one man's doing to find his happiness. That is my goal. I know the actions and success factors for me to be happy and work at the level I do. So I have to seriously sit down with myself sometimes and go, can I do all of this? You know, it's great that you've got these plans, these ambitions. Can you do it and still have a quality of life and still be happy? Or are you going to be a miserable asshole to everyone around you because you're stressed out of your eyeballs because you've just literally worked for 80 hours this week and gone to the gym and, you know, eaten your food. You've not seen or spoken to anyone. And so I have to sort of sit down and logically go, right, just have a word with yourself. What are you doing? And while we've been talking tonight, I've literally just gone to myself. I need to have a word with myself, and I need to start tracking the things I'm not. I've not meditated this week. I've not hit my water this week. I've not tracked calories this week, you know, and it all is all going to contribute to how happy I am, and I know that. So yeah, I suppose mine is making sure I'm doing the right things to be happy and not be a robot.
Brilliant.
I've got one last point on mindset. I don't know. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just about to ask, has anybody got any extra points?
Just one thing, when I did the first challenge, and there might be lots of first challenge listeners, is I started looking at what other people are doing far too much and thinking about the progress they'd made and looking at their photos, and it was really messing with my mind and my mindset. So I had to really listen to that comparison as a thief of joy and not do that and just focus on what I was doing. And I know it sounds really simple, but I think to be successful, you just got to think about being your own competition and not worrying about if everyone else got amazing progress pictures, like, good for them, but your progress might be something else. It might be you've lifted heavier that week. So just, focus on you.
Yeah, progress
Everyone
is
has
personal.
different goals, so you can't compare to anybody else. It makes it too hard.
But we do, don't we, as humans? We
Yeah.
like, sometimes you'll be feeling really crappy about yourself, like Lauren was saying, and you make yourself feel worse by looking at someone else. So just don't do that. Just think about what you've done and focus on you. Do you.
Yeah. Something I saw this week was at the end of week 1, the amount of people posting in the JSM being like, this is my first week, I don't see any change, like I'm really demotivated, and comparing themselves to other people's amazing progress that happens over weeks, months. I think you've got to acknowledge, like, it's a journey and it's going to take a few weeks before you can look back to the start to actually see that change.
Mm-hmm. I was that person in bin times. I just looked at a post, it's so embarrassing. Look at my Instagram now, of like week 4. I'm like, I can't see any changes. Everyone else has got amazing progress, blah, blah, blah. I spoke to the coach. What was I doing? It was week 4, like, stop it. So I was that knob, basically. And I'm telling everyone else, don't be that knob.
I think everyone does it. You know, I sometimes see people posting their weight on Instagram and I'm like, well, you know, I weigh more than that. That's really, like, and I think I've done well, and they're weighing less than me, etc., etc. And it's so hard when people have focused on weight in the past to move away from that. Like, I make sure now I do keep track of my weight because of medical reasons, and I just make sure that I weigh myself on different days to when I take my progress pictures, because then it doesn't affect my progress in the challenge. But it's so easy to get bogged down on what clothes size somebody is. You know, you see somebody in a size 12 and you're like, well, I'm the same size as them, but I'm a size whatever, you know. And it's so easy to compare when you really shouldn't, because everyone is different, like you said.
I think some of you may have seen, I posted this, it was this week I posted that random post where it was kind of about mindset, about how many posts I kept seeing, so many posts that were like, sorry for eating your breakfast, you know, here's my pictures, or like, you know, sorry to make anybody throw up, or oh, and I was like, no, like it's such a shitty way to post, and I'm guilty of it. I'm just as guilty of it, of looking in the mirror and being like, oh, nobody has to see this. The first voice you hear is your own, and that mindset is big. And if the first thing you think when you look in the mirror is like, oh, wolf, like that's not a good way to set it off, you know. And listen, nobody's going to be like sunshine and roses every single day, and nobody's going to be depressed every single day. It's both, but you know, just the words we use are so important to cue your mindset. And if you're starting it off with that negative, you know, whatever, you know, oh, I know it's not, I used to talk to a friend of mine who lifts, and he's a power lifter. And I said to him, I was like, oh, I know it's not as much as your bench, but, and he'd be like, don't say that. Your bench is your bench and my bench is my bench. Who gives a shit? That's awesome what you did. And that the words we use are powerful, and just that helps with your mindset.
I like to think of it, I wouldn't say it to my friends, like if they're asking me my opinion on like, how do I look kind of thing. I wouldn't tell them, oh, you look so fucking awful, like horrible, like I wouldn't be mean to them. Why would I say it to myself then? Why does it make it okay to say something like that to me? So that I always try to remind people, if you can't, like, be kind to yourself, like what you were saying, Lauren. You have to use nice words with yourself, just like you would with other people. There's no reason not to.
Absolutely. So I want to just on the last point, and then we're gonna close, and we'll come back next week, because we have promised the listeners that we're gonna keep the time down, and I've promised Veggie that I'll try and keep the time down. So I'll have to deal with that tomorrow. But so Shannon, I want you to summarize on mindset, because you had some shit thrown at you this week which you found difficult, and you seem to have bounced back from it.
Fuck. Following on from the last challenge, which was just a complete shit show for me, was just making sure that I write everything down, getting whatever it is in my chest out, taking the good with the bad. You're allowed bad days, you're allowed good days, and it's just life. Get on with it, sort of thing. This week has been shit for the fact that we have another lockdown now. I've had so many friends have to close businesses. They don't know whether they're going to be able to open back up, and one minute you're sitting laughing at the jokes about COVID, and the next minute you're sitting crying. And it's just taking those waves, but remembering that it's not permanent. Nothing's permanent.
Love it. Great point to summarize. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to the listeners. And in the words of James Smith, I'll leave them to him because I'll attach it onto the end. So thank you very much, and we will speak to you next week.
It's Alistair here. Make sure you fucking like this, share it. Not a charity, down £9 a month because you bastards. So get this out there, get this on the stories. And if you enjoyed it, if you haven't hit like, you like already. If you haven't hit share, hit share. There you go.